Hi guys, and welcome back to another championship video. Round 39 coming up. Quick recap on round 38. One score correct. Cardiff beating Stoke 2-1. Blues didn't do so well, which was a shame. Lost 2-0 to Middlesbrough. I think we started quite brightly, but they scored, and after that we were pretty awful. Luckily, I don't think it's going to matter too much because I think we'll be safe by the end of the season, as there's a big gap between us and the relegation zone. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and let's get in to the predictions. And starting off with Derby taking on Coventry. Now Derby, they've lost 5 out of their last 6, and they need to start getting wins if they, want to stay up. They are struggling, they've obviously got a thin squad, but if they could just become a bit more difficult to beat, I think they've got a chance. They did lose their last game 3-1 to Blackburn. Coventry, they beat Sheffield United 4-1. Looked like, it was going to trigger something and they were going to really, fight for the playoffs. But then they lost 2-0 to Hull, which is, 2 results there in a row for them that you just wouldn't expect. So I don't really know how to feel about Coventry. I think they're a difficult one to call. This is away. They're not the greatest away. So I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Sheffield United take on Barnsley next. And Sheffield United, they've only won 1 out of their last 5, which is a bit surprising considering they were in very good form before that. And they really climbed up the table and looked like they were going to, definitely get a playoff spot. But they are slipping up a little bit recently. Their last game, a 0-0 draw with Blackpool. Barnsley, they're unbeaten in 3, and they won 2-0 against Bristol City in their last one. So they are, they're doing quite well. Out of the bottom 4, I'd say Barnsley are they're the most informed side out of those 4, and they're the one that are really putting up a fight. Considering they were bottom a few weeks ago, they're really going for it. And I think they're going to escape. I think Reading, Derby and Peterborough will all get relegated, and Barnsley will somehow survive from their awful start. Well, pretty much awful first half of the season, maybe even more. I'm going to go in this one, however. Sheffield United, too much quality, so they'll win it 2-0. Bristol City take on West Brom now. And Bristol City, out of their last 9 games, won 3, lost 6. Luckily for them, they are already safe. So, not much to worry about for this season. Their focus will be on next season. West Brom look like they're trying to recover a playoff place. It may be too late, but unbeaten in 3, winning 2 of those, and their last match was a 1-0 victory over Fulham, which I really didn't see coming. But maybe West Brom can get something going here. Late push for the playoffs might be, a bit too far, but they're going to give it a go by the looks of it. So they're hoping to recover their season. You never know, if they get in off such a good late run of form, it would sort of make them one of the favourites to go up through it, because it's normally the team that makes a late burst and has the best form going into the playoffs that does well in them. For this game, I think West Brom will win. I think they'll shut out the opponent. So West Brom to win 1-0. A big game at the top of the table now. Huddersfield taking on Bournemouth. And Huddersfield, their 17-game unbeaten run in the league came to an end in a 2-0 loss against Millwall. However, fair play to them for going on such a long run in the Championship. Now we get to see whether they can bounce back from it. Because a lot of people, the majority of people would not have had Huddersfield to finish in the playoffs. I don't even think Huddersfield fans thought it. So, whether they can now just put that loss behind them, get back to winning, it's going to be difficult to see. Bournemouth, they are unbeaten in 3. However, they've played 3 of the bottom 4 in those games, drawn 2, won 1. So not as many points as you'd expect, an automatic promotion team to be picking up. So Bournemouth are maybe slipping a little bit. This is a difficult game because I don't know how Huddersfield are going to play after losing that unbeaten run. I think it'll be tight, however, because Bournemouth also getting a few draws. So I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Hull take on Luton next. And Hull got a surprise 2-0 win against Coventry. Didn't see that coming at all. Could have potentially damaged, Coventry's playoff dream. It definitely damaged it, but could have put a stop to it. So, a very good result for Hull. Pretty much guarantees them safety now. They'll only need another 2 points, really. So, fair play to them on a good first season back in the Championship. Luton, they're going for the playoffs. They bounced back from that 2-1 loss against QPR with a very good 4-0 win against Preston. And it's a Preston side that haven't lost many games under Ryan Lowe. They tend to be a drawing side recently anyway. But, brilliant win there from Luton. And I think they'll, push on here, get another victory and really put the pressure on for a top 6 spot. So Luton to win, 2-1. Reading take on Blackburn next. And Reading, they have lost 3 of their last 4 games, drew 1-1 with Bournemouth in their last one, which is a big point, and it could really help them out in their relegation battle. Blackburn, they beat Derby 3-1, and it looks like they've finally found their shooting boots, because before that, I think they'd only scored 1 goal in about 9 games. So Blackburn were awful in front of goal, get 3 in their last one in a nice win against Derby. Can they, start to get back in form now? Now, Lucas João is playing for Reading, so I always think that there's a goal available for Reading. But Blackburn found the shooting boots, probably will end up winning this game. So I'm going to go Blackburn to win, 2-1. Stoke take on Millwall next. And Stoke, they haven't won in 8, so, they're definitely not going to get near the playoffs now, which is another disappointing season from them. And they lost their last game 2-1 to Cardiff. I think Stoke are the definition of a team being on the beach. Millwall, however, unbeaten in 8, won 6 of those, so they're in very, very good form. And they beat Huddersfield 2-0 in their last match, which put an end to Huddersfield's great unbeaten run. So Millwall are really looking like a team that are going to get in the playoffs. I really think they will. I'm going to go Millwall, another win here, 1-0. Swansea take on Blues next. And Swansea, they'd lost 2 games in a row, but then went and beat Peterborough 3-2 with a last minute winner from Joel Pirot. Peterborough, by the way, are scoring quite a few goals. It's quite weird, but they're just not managing to win. Couldn't get the win against Swansea there. Blues lost 2-0 against Middlesbrough, which, as I said, it wasn't a great game. We started bright, conceded, and then looked awful for the rest of it. We couldn't create anything at all. We did win our last away game, however, 2-1 against Bristol City. It was our first away win since October, so whether that's anything to go off, I'm not sure. But here, I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. The next game has been postponed due to Forest playing in the FA Cup this weekend against Liverpool. Good luck to them. Fulham versus Forest. Now Fulham, they were unbeaten in 5, and then they lost 1-0 to West Brom. Didn't see that coming at all. Forest, unbeaten in 7, and they managed to get a big win in their playoff chase, 3-1 against QPR. So that has, really helped Forest out. They're on a great run. I think they'll get a point out of this one. However, by the time it's actually going to be played, Forest might be in awful form. But, just from the current form, I'm going to go 1-1. QPR take on Peterborough next. And QPR have lost 3 out of their last 4, losing the last one 3-1 to Forest. Bad game for them, as they really could have done with the points. It just makes, everything even tighter for those playoff positions. Peterborough haven't won in 15 games. Their last win was the 11th of December in the league, so a very, very long time ago. Not this calendar year, obviously. And they are looking like they're going to be relegated. They're managing to put, the ball in the back of the net. They drew 2-2 with Stoke. Then they lost 3-2 to Swansea. But they just can't keep the ball out. Which, if you can't keep the ball out the back of your net, you're really going to struggle to survive in this league. For this one, I think QPR are just going to pile the misery on Peterborough. QPR to win 2-1. And the next 2 games are due to be played in April, but they do belong to this round of fixtures. Not sure why they're being played in April, but I've got to give my predictions now because they do belong to this round. So firstly, Preston taking on Blackpool. I'm just going to base them off the current form because obviously I don't know what's going to happen in the games between. So I'm going to go Blackpool to win 1-0. And the other one, Middlesbrough versus Cardiff. For that one, Middlesbrough are very good at home, so I'll go Middlesbrough to win 3-1. So that's it for my championship predictions for this weekend. Please let me know down in the comments what your predictions are. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more championship content. And up the Blues.